So before we begin, I'm going to be transparent and just say thank you for coming back. This is our second take, everyone. I not used to pre-recording things, so Elliott is a real one. This is Elliott Fullam, everyone.
Hello, and thanks for having me back again.
Yeah, feel free to answer things exactly the way we talked about, or you can do whatever, but I just appreciate you following or coming back, So I do have, the same questions, but like I said, just do what you want with them.
Sounds good.
Oh, I like your Texas Chainsaw Massacre poster back there. Dude.
It might be, kind of like a blessing in disguise, because now I get to refilm it in my room with my Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
In honor of the horror. I got a red light going on over here.
I like, wow. What's that poster up there? The June 29th? Well, Misfits. Oh my God.
It's actually, that poster's actually signed by Danzig.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got some of the coolest memorabilia. I don't know if you could see it, but right there, that's a picture signed by Ozzy Osbourne. I got to meet him at a horror convention, and then over there, that's actually some of the posters in here were actually in Jonathan's bedroom. So that
Elliott Smith
Jonathan's
right there
bedroom.
too. Is that?
Sorry? Oh yeah, I got Elliott Smith.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I got him also again. Right? Oh no, that's right there. Bam.
Dude. Okay, so we did mention before you were named after Elliott Smith. That's pretty cool.
Yes. Yeah, my parents were huge fans. They got to see him live multiple times. Actually, and I didn't mention this before, but my dad actually got to see Elliott Smith live on the year 2000, like New Year's Eve. And when they did the countdown together, and Elliott Smith drank from a bottle and handed it right to my dad in the crowd, and they got to drink. So he technically shared a drink with him.
Insane. Dude, that's amazing. I can't believe that.
Craziness.
So you enter the Terrifier scene in the second movie. To me, I even bought the novelization, I showed you, but I think this is when the second movie really took off in terms of world building, and the characters had a lot of just oomph. The first one is good, but the second one, I could feel the world building more, How did you feel reading the script the first time, and what was your audition like?
Ooh, okay. The audition process for Terrifier 2 was definitely very nerve-wracking for me. We did 4 auditions. And the final audition was actually at the producer's house. So, you can only imagine how nerve-wracking that is for me. One of the most anxiety-ridden moments in my life was sitting in the car outside, because we always get there early and wait. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting there waiting right outside the house, and we're going over the lines, so anxious. But Lauren, who plays Sienna, my big sis, actually was already treating me like, a brother. Because they would surprise me with more scenes, right? Like scenes that I didn't have. Mm-hmm. And Lauren was like, "Yeah, this is okay. Yeah, can we go over it just real quick, like in the other room over there?"
Really?
And she's already treating me like a big sister. So that was very sweet of her. But like you said, how was it? What's the translation between the script and the actual film? It's definitely it's definitely really fun to read. When you read it, it's definitely a different experience compared to actually seeing it.
So you were a little younger too, and were your parents what are you doing? What is this movie you're getting into? Or were they kind of behind it the whole time?
No, my mom and dad are huge horror fans.
Cool.
And we actually got to see the original Terrifier already way before we even got the audition.
Cool.
My dad was actually on a website called Actors Access when he saw Terrifier 2 audition. We're like, oh my God, no way. So it was, I got lucky basically.
That's really cool.
That's our nerd.
That's sick. Okay, well, we did talk about this earlier, of course. Terrifier made a name for itself by being super gory, pushing the envelope. What was the hardest scene for you to do in terms of maybe testing your acting chops at the moment?
Ooh, okay. The hardest scene to do to test acting chops, actually, honestly, it's weird because in real life I'm very clumsy. I'm always bumping into things. I've knocked my water bottle over probably about 5 times a day, and that's not even an exaggeration. So it's actually like all the little stuff in between. So like simply in Terrifier 2, like when I fall backwards or running down the stairs, like the staircase, running out of the house
Oh
because
my
it's
god,
icy.
I would
I don't want to like
suck
trip
at
and
that.
fall and like I
Oh
don't know break a bone on set or something on
yeah,
like a staircase. But just simple stuff like that. The scenes that I really love and enjoy filming, though, I would have to say anything that's with, of course, Lauren, because I've learned so much from her just
hmm
from our scenes together and filming Terrifier 2, let alone Terrifier 3, which I think she even stepped it up
seriously,
further.
you too though.
Yeah.
Like it was wild. Yeah, like you were great in 2, but I could just tell 3 y'all really honed in exactly what you wanted the characters to be. It just seemed more comfortable. I don't know, but
Yeah, you know what? I think it's also, at least for me, the older you get, the more things you experience in life, and you get like when you live a little longer, live more, you get to experience more in this world, and it's easier for you to be put into that situation in acting.
totally.
Uh, so I feel like, of course, like Terrifier 2, I was like 14, 15 filming that. Compared to Terrifier 3, I actually forget when we filmed it and how old I was, but I
hmm
definitely experienced a lot more. But in Lauren's case, oh my god, she when you're acting with her, you feel like you're in the film. I feel like I'm Jonathan when I'm acting with her. She's Sienna. And same case with like David when he plays Art.
That must be really awesome to have the actor be that, or the actress like that you're working with be that great. So you can just be like, oh no, like fuck it, I'm in the zone because my
Yep.
coworker is just like in it too. So I bet that's
Yes.
yeah. Wow,
She
that's
taught
really
me
cool.
acting is reacting.
Wow. Oh my gosh, it's so interesting. It sounds like okay, it sounds like so basic on paper, but like I know what you mean by that. Like where it's kind of
Mhm.
like yeah, from what you
Yeah.
said. And also I told you like my biggest fear is possums.
Hmm.
So talk about that scene again. What was it like? Because I know you said you hated rodents. What was it like to interact with the possum?
Oh yeah, the possum scene. Well, one thing I didn't mention earlier, and we kind of talked about this with the substance,
hmm
where they only had one take with all the blood at the end. Most likely, like, what, you're gonna clean up all the blood and everything.
Yeah.
But for Jonathan's outfit, we only had like one extra for this scene. So when you throw all the blood and stuff on me, throw all the possum, we can only do that once. So that was like the only thing I was a little nervous about with it. Um, but yeah, rodents, possums. But there's a scene that got me the worst out of all the Terrifier films. When watching it, like when it's all said and done, a scene that I'm not in is well, you do see my head,
Uh-huh.
uh, possibly, but we'll get into more of that later.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
um, uh, you see the scene with the rats crawling
Yeah.
around inside your neck. I have bad OCD, and I don't want rodents inside my neck crawling around.
No.
No, yeah,
No.
no way.
No way. And like,
Uh-uh.
so has there been a scene that when you filmed it, it looked, I mean, of course it's going to look different on screen, but where you were like, wow, that's just totally different than the way I thought it was when we filmed it. Like, was it that one or a different one?
Ooh, well, I feel like it's with Damien does do a good job at like describing the scenes and what's gonna happen, but you can never ever like picture
I
it
can't
100%
imagine.
to the effect that he does, and the way they manage to make the practical effects look so good.
Mhm.
It's genius. Like they have
Yeah.
very specific vision. And actually, Lauren, the other day when I was at HorrorCon, even said the same thing. You have an idea, but it always looks better when it's on screen. They always manage a way to like make it even crazier than you could have
I
imagined.
cannot imagine what that's like as an actor. So that's so cool to hear. Towards like creative control, do you have like does Damien let you improv at all, or like is there
Ooh.
anything that you added personally to the movies?
He does allow for improv. Yes,
Mhm.
I actually did my very first improv scene with Lauren.
Really?
In the chapel scene in Terrifier 3. So at the very
Oh,
beginning, when she calls me boy genius, and when I say at least I'm fucking trying,
no
that
way.
that little beginning, a lot of the beginning exchange, I'm almost positive was improvised until I'm pretty sure we get into the he'll they there's like oh my I'm sorry, it's hard for me to
Oh,
explain
dude, don't
fully,
worry.
but my memory I lose it pretty
Dude,
quickly,
same. Don't worry about it.
but the Easter egg, there's a little Easter egg I did with the line. If you're a fan of the punk band Minor Threat, one of my favorite punk bands of all time,
Okay.
one of my favorite lyrics is when they say, "At least I'm fucking trying."
Oh
So
my god.
that's where I got that from.
That is good trivia. Thank you. Wow, I love that. So I asked you, I do want to ask you this again though, because I've always wanted to ask a horror actor this. Watching the movie back, you did say it's, translating it from script to screen is a wild experience, but let's put it this way. Do you want a different role for yourself now that you've seen this role? Maybe like, do you want to be a killer, or do you want to be a different type of character in the future now that you've seen yourself in this role?
That's an interesting question. You know what? I would be down for anything.
Yeah.
If anyone has like any specific vision for me, I'm willing to do it. If they think I'm like a killer, if they think I'm similar to just myself, like in Terrifier, that's cool too. But I'm honestly down for whatever. Even I mean, horror is so close to my heart, and that was actually one of my number one goals, to be in a horror film since a
Damn.
very young age. So I love horror, and I would do a horror, of course, whenever. But it's whatever opportunity comes, you know?
Yeah. And it's not weird to see yourself in a movie, because sometimes it's weird for me to like hear
Oh,
myself back. Is it weird for you?
it is weird. It
Yeah.
is weird.
Yeah.
Well, and sometimes like I get so locked into the film that I forget that I'm in it, and then I'll see myself. I'm like,
Yeah. You're
oh
like,
yeah.
oh, great. I feel that. Um, is there anything you'd like to see in the future of horror movies? I know we did talk about this, but I think that was a really good. We should talk about this again.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on this take. I am excited to see, because I mean we mentioned the substance, the smile, Terrifier. One of my favorite things about these films is that they're doing something different. They're pushing boundaries,
Yes.
or they're taking things a step further. I think as long as we keep getting more like fun, original, creative ideas.
Yes, the
Yes.
like bold on original. Yeah, like
Yes.
even if it's anthologies, I was thinking about that. Like I want more anthology movies,
Mhm.
Creep Show, Tales from the Crypt, that got turned into
Yeah.
a movie. I know that was a show, but like I don't know, it'd be awesome to have like the VHS series. Have you
Yes.
more of
Uh-huh.
that? Like found footage alone is great, but I just love the anthology. So I think a lot of horror movies can be cut down into shorter movies too. And then that'd be a great way to maybe include like the short film you're working on too. Do you want to talk
Yes.
about that again?
Yeah, I am gonna be in. We're gonna be filming a short film called Wolf and Crown. It's gonna be inspired by films like David Lynch. It's gonna be inspired by Donnie Darko.
Yes.
So it's gonna have that horror aspect, but still be
Surreal a
like
bit?
sorry,
Like surreal a bit? It sounds like surreal,
Yeah.
like dreamy.
Yes. And it's gonna, yeah, definitely. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say.
Yeah, no, don't worry.
But it's still gonna have like a coming of age film. My girlfriend Josie's gonna also be in it.
Awesome.
Jesse Corman, who was actually one of the photographers, well, the main photographer for Terrifier 3, is gonna be directing it and working with us. And then Olga, who was a big part of Terrifier 2 and Terrifier 3, with helping out with the set and fashion. And she was the art director. And then also Kevin is writing it, and I'm very, very excited for how this all turns out. And back when we were talking about original ideas,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how original was David Lynch? Like, that's one of those
His own-
directors
literally.
where he captures an energy, a world, creates a world that you will never ever feel outside of his films.
1000%.
Yeah.
I feel you on that. Like I just went back and rewatched all of his stuff because he recently passed away, and like Yeah, there's just nothing that will be like him. And I know there's people that try to be like him, but David Lynch did it so well where even if you don't have all the answers to his movies too, they're still just gonna have you keep thinking about them. And I really appreciate that because I've usually, I need all the answers. I need to, you know, and I think David Lynch is like, that shit, like, we're gonna give you a mystery that you dream about forever. And I'm like, yeah, I like, and then he also just won't let anyone tell him no during production about like his weird ideas. And that's like, we need more of that. So like less remakes, more of that shit. Yeah. So I'm interested to see your short film though. I would love to watch it like somehow in my Discord or something with everyone. But
oh yeah.
Along with being an actor, you're a musician. We did mention this, but you're working on your 4th album. How have you found being an actor and being a musician go together? I did think this was an interesting take you said earlier too.
Yeah, I would have to say, well, the good thing about with music, and being able to make music in this bedroom that I'm in right now.
Yeah. You make it in that bedroom right there?
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, my room. Here in my apartment. So it's like, basically it's a good way to help with acting, because it's completely different. It's the contrast of it. I'm able to be 100% myself. I'm not acting. I'm not being someone else, in someone else's world. So when I'm making music, it's my world that I'm creating, and I'm being myself. So it keeps me refreshed. Keeps me refreshed as an actor. And of course, with acting, it could be sometimes a grueling process. You do a bunch of auditions, you'll never hear back, and then also sometimes you can have, there's cases where you could possibly even be the best person for the role, but they want a different voice, they want a different look. You know, it's you know, acting, it is a lot of hard work, a lot of auditions. I'm very lucky that I even got into Terrifier. So music is my way to escape, another form of therapy for me. So you know, it definitely helps a lot.
I find that super fascinating because that alone, and then also I wonder if you're taking notes while you're on set. Like, I know you don't do concept albums that much, but you do more like, this is me, this is my raw shit, and I like that. But I wonder if maybe like if you do more movies and stuff, you'll be like, oh, I'm gonna do a concept album about this side plot, and like it'll be Art the Clown's cousin, but no one will know, but you will, kind of thing. Like inspiration from both sides, I wonder.
Art is so important because it's not also just for you, it's also for all the people that are watching you. And you were talking about maybe doing conceptual music, and that's definitely on the horizon for me as well. I mean, the more and more I get comfortable with myself and writing music, I definitely plan on experimenting more, for sure.
Hell yeah. Cool. I'm looking forward to that because I think just the combination of all the things you're into will be really cool to like just watch you put out more shit in the future in general. Just
Thank you.
Have you considered writing music for a horror movie? You were saying you were going to write for your short film though, right? Or maybe you'll have the opportunity to write for that. Possibly. Yeah. You'll see.
I mean, it could be me, but it also could be someone else that's better suited for it too. But that's like a maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be down, and I am gonna work on stuff either way. And if it doesn't make it, then it doesn't make it. But if it does, then keep your eyes peeled.
That's how I am too. I just shoot my shot and like whatever, you know. If it doesn't land, at least you. I hate the quote, "You miss every shot you don't take," but I love it. Like at the same time, because it's like. I don't know. Nothing would happen if you didn't do anything. So, yeah. All right, we're going to get into spoilers. I mean, sort of. It's been out for a while, though. We're going to talk about your death in Terrifier 3. You've been at millions of horror cons at this point, and, like, you're still going to go, I assume, and you've been asked this a lot. The ending is brutal. How did you feel about the fate of your character as far as audience knows?
Yeah, as far as the audience knows, and of course, I'm very aware of all the theories and everyone that's been saying, and there's, and honestly, I'm with all of you. I have no clue what's going to be happening. Damien doesn't really tell me much, and he actually, for Terrifier 3, didn't really tell me my fate at the end of that film or what that scene was going to be like until, like, I don't know, a few days, like a few weeks before filming.
That's a
So
lot.
he's very secretive. There's like a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if he's writing stuff right now. But like if he
Huh.
wants me back, and once again I keep seeing all the theories. If he wants me back in some way or some capacity, I would 100% be down. You just got to give me that call. But from what we know and how I feel about that scene, it's honestly, in my opinion, it's an honor. And it's definitely a crazy twist and a very emotional, insane scene. Of course, the rat scene, that one gets me bad, but
Oh
also
yeah, I just
the
remember that one where it goes down the throat.
yeah,
Woo!
And
Oh my
then there's
god.
the sword versus the chainsaw, which is crazy.
Sick.
And I mean, if that's the way I go out, if that is like, let's say, um, if that is the way Jonathan goes out, then I think that would be an honor. But also, if I am back and somehow, like, I can't confirm or deny, I just don't know.
Right. No, yeah, I
Um,
don't expect you to, but interesting
but
to
I
hear your
do want to say
take.
this, that thank you so much to everyone that does actually care about Jonathan, and seeing the reaction from the audience, and people talking about Jonathan and coming up with theories and stuff. Especially, I mean, I'm a horror fan myself, so I know how strong the horror community is. But to see it firsthand like this is
Yeah.
just honestly beautiful. I don't have words for it. So
I
I
can't
am very
imagine.
grateful.
I cannot imagine what that's like to see the response from a huge movie. Like Terrifier 2 definitely took off like
Mm.
crazy. And you're just like a part of it, like just watching probably millions of people give you feedback. And I can't imagine how you like took all of that in. And I don't know, I can't. Art the Clown
Surreal.
Appreciation.
Oh yes, the Clown Appreciation
Can you
Society,
just
which
tell
is,
me more
yeah,
about that? Like, do you know anything like about what they do? More about like what they
it's
do? Yeah.
basically like a big group of people on Facebook, very awesome, loving people, and I've met a lot of them, and they just simply appreciate Art the Clown,
Hmm.
and Terrifier,
It's so
and
funny.
and huge shout out to them because they are some of the sweetest people, and their support is so strong. And, I mean, I've seen them at tons of horror conventions. They were just the coolest. So shout out to Art the Clown's Appreciation Society.
And I'm sure you get asked a million times like what it's like to even work with Art the Clown. So,
Oh,
is there anything you want to share behind the scenes that like was a weird moment or anything? And then we'll probably wrap it up after that.
well, I would have to say one of my favorite parts about working with David, is he is not a method actor, but he like turns it on really really quickly. Yeah, I mean, he'll be just David, making his jokes and stuff, and just being a total sweetheart in between takes. Like there was scenes where he'll be like, "Oh, are you okay? You all good? Everything's okay? All right, all right." And
Really?
then when you hear action, he's right back to being Art the Clown. Uh, so it's really interesting how he can do that switch, because he's not Art in real life. So that
Thank
to
God.
me
I
has
mean,
always been very interesting.
wow. That's really cool. Okay, again, dude, for anyone listening, Elliot is a real one. Like, for future anyone that wants to hire Elliot, for anyone, like, dude, just the fact that you wanted to redo this with me, thank you. And like,
Of course,
it just means the world to me. I was gutted when I realized that everything was just a fail after. So thank you so much.
of course.
Please take this as a time to promote anything else you have in mind. I want to give you the floor for anything else like you want to say, just about your projects and anything.
Well, thank you. First off, thank you so much for having me, and having me again. I would have to say, definitely, I am on all social media: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. But yes, in a few weeks, I am going to be filming my short film called Wolf and Crown, which I'm very excited for. And I think a lot of people, especially horror fans, are going to really, really love it and be excited about it. But then I have to say, I am working on tons of new music, maybe another music project at some point soon to keep your eyes peeled for. But
Ooh.
also, maybe come by a HorrorCon. We're all hanging out. The horror conventions are so much fun. meet the cast and crew of Terrifier. We're all having a good time. I might be in your area, so keep your eyes peeled. Keep your eyes peeled. But yeah, I think that's about. I think that's the main stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff on the horizon. So yeah,
sick. Yeah, I'm pumped for anything you do in the future.
Thank you so much. Hey, we can't forget, what faction am I in?
We are going to finally, last but not least, give Elliott a faction. If you've been around my show for a while, you know I like to give my viewers a faction so that way they feel a little closer to me in the underworld. It's just a way for you to like tie the connection tighter. And we can know, you can start brainstorming on how you want to roleplay as this member of the faction, whatever you can use it for a concept album, fashion choices, whatever. But let's see what faction you are in. And okay, you got Mortis this time.
Okay.
I should have explained the factions before. So Mortis is our undead faction. It does sort of go in hand with the skull that was in Terrifier 3 at the end with the glasses on. So you are now in Mortis. The other factions, just to say, they were Omen, and Omen is more angels, demons, and imps and stuff. Void is cosmic horror, and Goblin is goblin stuff. So
I'm now Mortis.
you're Mortis,
I'll
yeah.
Take it.
We'll say that's the final faction for you, yeah. So,
all right.
Okay, thank you again. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you
everyone.
so much.
Elliott, everyone. Woo!